Shanti Shanti Shanti. All of you know that these verses we have selected from Bhagavad Gita from different chapters. And what we are doing is Gnana Yoga Shloka Sangraha. So how did we arrange them? You can see Shloka number 1 and 2 gives you the introduction to Gnana Yoga. Then Shloka number 3 gives you what is the eligibility criteria for people to start Gnana Yoga. What are the eligibility for the teachers to teach Gnana Yoga? Then Shloka number 4 to 8 gives the entire dimensions of reality. Unchanging reality, changing reality. Once you start the practice in the Gnana Yoga, what are the qualities that emerge in a person who is practicing Gnana Yoga? Shloka number 9. Then, how do we proceed? What are the tools for growth? Whether growing in the right direction or not has been brought forth in Shloka number 10 to 14. Then, what are the higher dimensions of Gnana Yoga, which are featured by large number of siddhis, the supernatural powers, understanding the higher and higher dimensions, laws of the higher koshas. Shloka number 15. Then, when such a person who has reached great heights, what happens to him at the time of death? How does he leave the body? That is Shloka number 16. Then when he leaves the body, what happens to him? Where does he go? What is the ultimate goal of Gnana Yoga? This is how the 18 verses have been selected from different chapters of Bhagavad Gita and has been put into these 8 different chapters. Same thing for other things also we have done. Raj Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, everything. And this has been predicted in the form of a schematic. This gives the whole spectrum of Gnana Yoga. First is Shravana. As we know, in modern research, we have formulation of a hypothesis. Hypothesis, for example, taking hydrogen, oxygen gives you water. That's the hypothesis. Then you start questioning, manana. And logically, you see whether it's okay, whether it's not okay, you're not convinced, and all these things go on and on. Then you're convinced to some extent, not convinced fully. Then you do the experimentation. It's called as the nididhyasana. And you do the things repeatedly by different people, different areas, multi-central trials and all things. So nididhyasana is done by a large number of different people in different places and has been put into the test by the conferences and others. Finally, if everybody agrees, it becomes the gnana. That's the inference. Whatever modern scientific methodology, research methodology we have evolved, was there in ancient times, even from our ancient masters. That's much more rigorous than what we have today, even in the double-blind studies. Then, having come to the inference, yes, we are not just physical body, we have 4 more bodies, you have to get established in that. That's called the Jivan Mukti, Yata Prajna. So you have to live that thing. It is not only you come to this thing, but you have to see that you live those states. And then you go to the higher and higher dimension, which I said, advanced Gnana Yoga, that is Siddha Sthiti. So your tune was up to the Pranamaya Kosha, you get certain Siddhis. You go to the Manomaya Kosha, you get the higher Siddhis. You go to the Vijnanamaya Kosha, you get all the Siddhis, Ashta Siddhis like Hanuman. And Anandamaya Kosha is the ultimate these things. And then you leave the body. That is total silence. That's called moksha. Vedanta, it's called as moksha. Moksha means absolute freedom. Freedom from all our slavery that we have. slavery of the mind, slavery to the emotions, slavery to the intellect, slavery to the information, slavery to the entire body itself. You have slavery to the body. You have to feed, you have to give this thing, bound by gravitation. You cannot increase or decrease the body size. We don't have control over its dimension, all that thing. So you have freedom at all levels. You become the master of masters. Hanuman is an example, apart from various avatars that we have. So that is the most exalted place. That is, it's all in the advanced Jnana Yoga it comes. Not only epic characters like Rama, Krishna, and others. In our country, the speciality is every state, we had such great personalities. We had Sant Gnandev from Maharashtra, Shankaracharya from Kerala. We had Raghavendra Mahaswamigal from Andhra and then Karnataka. Large number of Siddhas in Tamil Nadu. Agastya was able to drink the whole ocean. No? Is it ever thinkable? Then we had large number of Hatha Yoga masters from Madhya Pradesh. And this side we have Punjab, we have Guru Nanak. This side, West Bengal, we have Lahari Mahasaya, Yukteswar Giri. They all come again and again to establish the truth of this dimension. So this is the grandeur of our country. Therefore, we are not just a Punya Bhumi, but it's a Divya Bhumi that we have in our country. We are really fortunate that we have taken birth in this. This is the whole spectrum of Jnana Yoga that has been presented in Bhagavad Gita, and we have selected 18 verses and set them into the format of almost like a thesis, 8 chapters. For each yoga, we have these 8 chapters, almost same thing we have for each one of them that we have put. With that, we start today. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Vrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Atha Srimad Bhagavad Gita So Jnana Yoga Shloka Sangraha Arjuna Uvacha O Batamahat Papam Kartum Vyavasitavayam Yatrajya Sukhalobhena Antum Swajanamudyataha. Bhagavad Gita opens with a very wonderful dramatic scenario. Kauravas and the Pandavas have gathered for the fight. Lakhs of people on each side. Because the Ghora Sangrama is going to start. Then Arjuna asks Krishna, please take me to the forefront. I want to see for all the people who are supporting the treacherous of Duryodhana, such a adharmi Duryodhana who is causing all the things. Then obediently, as if Krishna takes the chariot to the forefront. And when Arjuna sees the whole Kaurava brothers, he has expected. Karna, our friend. Then when he sees Kulagrupu, Kulaguru, Krupacharya. He's a little surprised. Then he turns here, he sees Dronacharya, his own teacher who has come. Finally, who is the commander-in-chief, Bhishma Pitamaha, the role model. Then he gets into a big conflict. Duty on one side, ethics and morality on the other side. Should I inflict pain on my own teachers? Should I kill my own teachers? How can I inflict pain on these people? His heart comes with compassion, love, respect, and there's a big conflict. Both are good. One side says, Buddhi says, you are a Kshatriya, you have to wage the war. Don't think who comes in front, you have to wage the war and win the war. Other side, his heart comes, ethics, morality. And what is the purpose of this war? His Buddhi supports, don't kill, don't do these things. What you are going to get after all? Yadraja Sukalobena Hantam Swadanam Udyataha Vayam. We have all joined here to get that kingship. They have been greedy of the kingdom. When we get the kingdom, comfort and other thing, for that greed, you are killing your own people. Wrong. So big conflict. Arjuna is torn apart. And as Buddha says, you are doing a very big papa. Mahat papam kartum. You have all joined to the biggest sin. If you kill one person, you make a papa, and that gives you punishment. Now you are hundreds of people you are killing. Your own teacher you are killing. No. Your own role model you are killing. No. Arjuna gets into the big conflict. This is the opening scenario that has been presented. When two good things are in a conflict, what is the solution? So, in all our lives, at one stage, such conflicts arise. Then you are torn apart. There is no book in the world which can give you the solution. It's only here in the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita that you have the solution. So, Bhagavad Gita is the sum and substance of all the Upanishads. Shankaracharya, in his opening introduction, he writes this Bhagavad Gita, Sarvopanishadaha Sarasangraha Bhutoyam Grantaha. This Bhagavad Gita is the sum and substance of all Upanishads. Such is the grandeur given to Bhagavad Gita. And how does Krishna solve this problem? So he comes down to the level of Arjuna. Okay, Arjuna, you are not doing papa according to me. But even assume you are doing the papa. He Bhagavan Vacha Api Chedasi Papebhyaha Sarvebhya Papa Kruttamaha Sarvam Gnana Plavenaiva Rujinam Santarishyasi. Even assume, okay, you are doing papa. Even assume that you are doing the biggest of the papa. No. And you have become a big sinner of the highest order. No. Papa Krut Taraha, Papa Krut Tamaha. That is superlative. You are the biggest sinner of the world. Let's say. Even assuming that, coming to this level, what is the way out? All this you can overcome by taking to the right knowledge. By getting into the boat of Gnana, the right knowledge, you can overcome all these sins. Rujinam Santarishyasi, the ocean of papa that you have, everything you can cross if you take the boat of Gnana. So, what is the point there? You have to have the right knowledge. You have a wrong knowledge. The wrong knowledge has to be corrected. Having said that, so he says, to understand this knowledge, to get at this right knowledge, What is to be done? You have to become an eligibility of a student. And you have to go to the right person who has the right knowledge. So, eligibility of the student and teacher has been put forth in the third. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Three characters of the student: pranipata, pariprashna, and seva. Seva, that is karma yoga that you are doing, to overcome the tamas within us, to overcome lethargy, drowsiness, sleepiness, had to be removed. Therefore, seva, seva. Earlier in Gurukula, they were going and then working in the sheds, in the agriculture, everywhere they were doing everything. Physical activity is necessary. Therefore, we included Karma Yoga at least 1 hour in our schedule here. Then, Pranipata. Pranipata is Sashtanga Namaskar. Not just physical one. It is the openness of the mind. Now, what is being told? If you have a closed mind, then you cannot examine them. You must have an openness of mind. That is the criteria of any scientist. So, a openness of mind is necessary so that whatever has been told, you take it. Then, just because it has been told, you don't have to accept it. No blind faith. You must have prashna, pariprashna, questioning. Deeper question. As students, you must have these three qualities. Krishna is telling Arjuna. So, three qualities. That is pranipata, pariprashna, and seva. What are the characteristics of a teacher who has the right knowledge? He should be a gnaninaha. He should know all the things that have been told. The theoretical knowledge. He should be a scholar. He should be a professor. He should know everything. Not only that's enough. Tattvadarshinaha. He should be a realized person, having experienced what has been told. So, practice and theory both are necessary. These are all becoming yoga instructors and teachers who must have both these dimensions. Theory and practice. An ounce of practice equal to tons of theory, we say. At the same time, when you have the theory and do it correspondingly, your effect of practice is going to be 100 times more. So as teachers, you must get more and more knowledge, more and more practice you must do, realize the truth. So that should be quality of a teacher. So we should all become students and teachers. That is what telling Arjuna. With this eligibility, Arjuna has come with all the three things and he is asking questions, very brilliant questions. He is not just accepting whatever Krishna has told. Everything he questions. Full of questions, very deep questions, all these things. At the same time, he is having the openness of mind to understand. Then Krishna is the right knowledge. He gives the whole knowledge. He is not only this thing, he is this thing. So the qualification of a teacher is well versed in all shastras, theoretical knowledge, and having the realization of truth or reality. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, that has been told. So then, what is the knowledge base that Krishna gives? Na jayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyah ajo nitya shashvatoyam purana nahanyate hanyamane sharire. The first thing is telling to Arjuna. So, you are not just this physical body. This body, which is in a continual flux of changes going on, changing. It has the birth and it has the death. it goes on and on and on. Same thing in the entire world, in the Jagat. Everything goes on changing, and they are governed by the trifold law of Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. That's called Jagat. The word Jagat comes from the word Jagatyan Jagat. That which goes on changing is called Jagat. For example, in our body, in a day, a billion cells get created and a billion cells get destroyed. Since we all came to this hall, all our bodies are changed. What to talk about the mind, emotions, intellect, everything changing. Similarly, in the physical world, everything appears to be stationary, nothing. But today we have understood everything. We have molecules. We have billions and trillions of molecules going around. And if you take one atom, you've got tremendous speed of the electron swirling around the nucleus. Tremendous activity going on in the whole. In the so-called inert matter also there is tremendous activity. Therefore, everything in the whole creation is full of activity and continual flux goes on. But beyond all that is the unchanging entity. That is called self. That is called Parama Atman. That's called Brahman. And you may call it in scientific terms as reality, absolute reality, pure consciousness. So therefore, please understand this total knowledge. You are not this physical body. This world creation is not just a world which is changing. There is something which is beyond. And the whole creation is made out of that pure consciousness. Purnamadaha, Purnavidam. This world is Purna, that Purna also Purna. That's infinite, this is also infinite. What is the relation? Purnat, Purnam, Udachyate. This Purna comes from that pure consciousness. When this comes out of that, will it become a zero? X minus X is zero. Will it become zero? No. Why? X minus X is zero is the law of the finite world. Infinity minus infinity can be infinity. Therefore, Purnasya Purnam Adaya, Purnam eva avasishyate. That Purna remains untouched. That is our original state. That is from where all of us have come. That is from state of Brahman, the whole creation has come. And this Jagat has 5 layers. We are not just a physical body, we have got 4 more bodies. Physical body is called Annamaya Kosha. Then we have Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnana, Anandamaya Kosha. Similarly, in the world, in the creation, we have got this physical world, which is featured by electromagnetic field. Everything is energy. But encompassing that is the bioplasmic field, pranic field. Encompassing both these things is the astral field or the mind field, Manomaya Kosha. And encompassing all the 3 is Vijnanamaya Kosha, that's the information field. Then encompassing 4, all this is the bliss field. So all these fields in continual change, interacting with one another. A change in one brings change in the other. And they are governed by the law of Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. And that which pervades everything is pure consciousness. That is the self. This is the knowledge base that Krishna gives to Arjuna. He is giving the knowledge. And he says, Veda vinashinam nityam yayena majabhavyayam katham sapurusha partha ambhatayati hantikam. If you understand this knowledge, then he says, you are understanding that you are that infinite. your pure consciousness, which is beyond space, time, causation. If you understand this, then that's Nitya, eternal, Avinashi, that cannot be destroyed. Ajam, unborn, Abhyayam, indestructible, inexhaustible. Then, hey Partha, Arjuna, how can you destroy anybody? You can kill this physical body, but you cannot destroy your thing. That's the first thing he says. Unchanging Brahman and the changing creation put forth there. So that is the dimension that he brings about. This goes on varying. That which is beyond is this ultimate reality. In this is brought forth the dimensions of the rebirth. What happens to us when we die? We all have 5 bodies. When we die, the physical body is left out. Along with that, the pranamaya kosha also stays for a while, because it's continuously in tune with these things. After a few days, 12 days or so, then pranamaya kosha also goes away. Then what happens to us? We are in manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. All our personality traits are embedded in this, the karma vashesha. They are called as the sanchita karma and prarabdha karma. So whatever we have done here, whatever is our personality trait that we have developed, tamas, rajas, sattva, they are all embedded in the subtle form, in these subtler layers of manomaya, vijnana, anandamaya koshas. And they exist as the personality traits, as granthis. And therefore, all your personality traits are continuously existing in these 3 things. And when you come back, all those personality traits are going to come back. When you are born, it is those personality traits which you have stored is going to come back. So therefore, you start with a new journey, with the samskaras that you had developed. That is called as the prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma comes out as your hereditary traits. So you are born to those parents who can embed those karma avasheshas into this life. Supposing you have stored a tendency for diabetes, then you are born to the parents who have diabetes, depending on the intensity. If you have very intense diabetes, when you died, you had intense diabetes, and because of diabetes you have died, let us say. That samskara has gone there. So when you born, you have that strong prarabdha to again become diabetic. Therefore, it will choose that particular couple, both having diabetes. Therefore, when you are born into that couple, then you are likely to get diabetes in a highway. But if it is mild, only father had diabetes, mother doesn't have diabetes, so the probability of diabetes is 50%. If you don't have diabetes, you are not born to a diabetic patient. This is the law that happens. There is a resonance that takes place. So this is the concept of karma. So therefore, he is telling to Arjuna, when you die, you are not lost. You are not destroyed. You have all your personality traits very much embedded in your other koshas, in our other bodies. And when you come back, you continue this. There is a continuity that goes on in the whole thing. Therefore, you don't have to agree. This is the knowledge base that Krishna is giving to the dimension. So, Ian Stevenson did a lot of work in the United States. And how did he want to prove the birth, this concept of rebirth? Scientific works done on rebirth. Ian Stevenson. He is known for the research that he had done. He had written a number of research papers. How did he want to prove that rebirth is a reality? First is birthmarks and birth defects. Stevenson reported cases where individuals had birthmarks or birth defects that seemed to correspond to injuries or wounds sustained by the person they claimed to have been in a past life. Supposing before I death, there is a big accident I have, and I have a big mark somewhere here or somewhere here in different part of the body when I die. So that has been recorded. And when the person is born, they have got similar birthmark. So this is called birthmark and birth defect. Similarly, birth defect. When you are dying, at that time you have got a defect. That means, as I said, diabetes, or you have got the hypertension, the heart problem, or the different types of defects. You are not that brilliant. You are a slow learner or a mentally retarded. Whatever has been the defect that you have at the time of death, when you are coming here, you show this thing. So he correlated these things. Number of cases he took. In the children, he took these things and found out the similar birthmark. This is one way by which he wanted to prove that there is the rebirth. The second way is the near-death experience, NDEs. Some researchers have explored NDEs and their potential connection to rebirth. How near-death experience are not direct proof of reincarnation. They involve experiences of consciousness beyond clinical death and are sometimes linked to ideas of continuity of consciousness. So what is the near-death experience? You are dying. You have become almost unconscious. And your whole breathing rate has started becoming smaller. Your heartbeat has started becoming very, very, very small. Almost stop. The ECG shows almost a flat thing. You are almost in the state of death. But what is happening to inside? You have some experience. Many of these experiences that now you are entering into a tunnel, a dark tunnel. You are entering into this thing. And you go deeper and deeper, and it becomes smaller and smaller. And you enter there, and suddenly there is an opening, and the whole thing becomes bright. You come out. Then you come back to life again, heartbeat increases, and your consciousness comes, and you are back to life. This is one of the common features of this near-death experience. And this is the one that he wanted to correlate. Maybe this is what happens. When we die, your whole andhakara comes, and you're becoming unconscious, and you leave it. And then leave this body and go into the entire consciousness. And when that opening takes place, then again you take birth. This is one of the hypotheses. This is the way that they had near-death experiences. That's why it is said, this is a potential connection to rebirth. NDAs are not direct proof of reincarnation or rebirth. But this is one of the ways that have been done. Then research into consciousness, its nature, and the question of whether it can exist independent of the physical body is related to discussions about rebirth. Papers and studies in the field of consciousness studies will show some of these things. Can consciousness exist without the physical body? For the question. The psychology of memory. Some psychological research has explored cases of false memories and the form of self-identity, which can be indirectly relevant to discussions about rebirth and the continuity of self across lifetimes. So these are the two things that have been done by many researchers to show that probably the rebirth is a possibility. Then we have cultural and anthropological studies. Anthropological and cultural studies often examine beliefs in rebirth and reincarnation in various cultures and religious traditions. These studies can shed light on the diversity and cultural extent of these beliefs. So in various religions, the concept of rebirth has been postulated. So what people have done is they have picked out those things wherever religion rebirth has been told by different culture, different groups, different set of people. And what do their shastras say? Just like we say that we have the Panchakosha, we have got this thing in our thing. What do the Buddhists say? What do the Jains say? What do the other set of people say in various religions, not only in our country, all over the world? Different culture, different religious tradition, or their commonalities, or their mention about the rebirth. This has been put forth. This is a literary research. So in the literary research, these things have been called out and shown that yes, it is not only in our India, in our Hindu culture that we have, in various religious cultures and other places, this has been put forth. This has been put forth. This is the literary research. Then the greatest work is from Dr. Ian Stevenson, 1918 to 2007. Basically, he was a psychiatrist and a parapsychologist. So he is a modern medical doctor. And he took up this task of establishing the rebirth. He is known for his extensive research, a large number of cases, particularly young children who claim to remember past life. His work is often cited as one of the most significant and systematic investigations into the phenomena of past life memories. What he would do, he find out a child, says, in my past life, I was there in Bengal and I had 5 children and I was a girl and I had the husband, and this what all details you do. So immediately he will go there and find out whether such a thing was there, husband and wife, whether the wife died, when she died, and when this birth is born, and all the details which have been told by the child was verified. They got some more details. They came back to the child. Do you remember anything further? They remember. So like that, they continuously, they had a lot of interaction. And that is his major work, remembrance of the pre-life. So Stevens' research involved collection and analysis of thousands of cases, not only in India, worldwide, particularly in those countries where belief is important. Wherever the belief of reincarnation was there he found more children who remembered. And the remembrance was verified there. These are all documented. Therefore, he published a number of papers in parapsychology and wrote books on these things also. So that is the dimension. That is one way by which he was proving that rebirth is a reality. Then, as I said, birthmarks and birth defects. Stevenson reported cases where individuals had birthmarks or birth defects that seemed to correspond to injuries or wounds sustained by the person they claimed to have been in a past life. What he will do, person here has a birthmark, and the person will remember, I was in Mumbai, I was such and such a person, and I had this wound. So he will go there, find out whether it is true. Whether they had an injury here, there's a birthmark here, he will go there and verify. So I had such large number of cases. How many years he had done, you see? 1918 to 2017. Almost 80 years, 70 years he did that work. Wonderful work he did. Then second is corroborative evidence. He sought to collect corroborative evidence in the form of statements made by the child that matched the life of the claimed past personality. He also investigated family members and others who may have had knowledge of the past personality life. So, remembrance of the past. What are the statements the child had? Everything was recorded. Scientifically, they had to prove. Therefore, he recorded everything, written down everything before he went to that place. And when he went there, he found out and recorded those things. And the two records have been shown. The two records, there are a number of commonalities. Some things were missing. Something was missing here, something was missing here. Therefore, he went there again and collected that data and came back here and asked. So like that he went on things. So this work was continued in our country also in Iman. Dr. Satwant Prashisha, he is the head of the Department of Parapsychology in IMANS. IMANS is National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience. She is known. She is a sort of disciple of Stevenson. She also went around the country and collected data because she was curious. When she heard Stevenson had done this thing, then she said, yes, this is a good way to find out whether rebirth exists. So she traveled around the whole country, every part. And wherever any child remembers something, she will go record that and then go there and test. So this way, they all went on doing this. Thousands of cases, not one or two cases. Satwant Prashisha. He is a well-known Indian psychiatrist. Because he is also a psychiatrist, but he is also a child psychiatrist, essentially. He is a researcher. He conducted extensive work on the subject of reincarnation and past life memories. As I said, research primarily focuses on case of young children who claim to remember their past lives, a phenomenon often associated with reincarnation beliefs. She has investigated and documented numerous cases of children who spontaneously recall detailed memories of their past life, providing evidence for the possibility of reincarnation. So I asked one question to her that, okay, now we have taken, a child is here at the age of, say, 10, and he or she is remembering the past life. So you went there and then investigated. This child was a girl there and she died there. When did she die and when this child was born? How long it took for that lady to die? After die, she died in such and such a date and the child was born. How long it took? It is 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, how much? So she went back and then collected all the data and she said an average was about 25 years. But some people did that very fast. That is, within a short time of even 3 years. And there are people who came up to 50 years. So that's the new thing that she was able to bring about in her research. So what she did was she interviewed these children and recorded everything in great detail. Not only the child, but their family also, to gather information about the details of the accuracy of children's past life memory. Then she has published her findings in various academic journals and books. Her research has contributed to the broader field of parapsychology and has been cited by others interested in studying reincarnation and consciousness. So she read a number of books. He gave me some 3-4 books at that time. I was very, very interested and was going through that dimension. That is second way. Third thing, personality traits and behavior. Stevenson looked for cases where the child displayed personality traits, behaviors, and phobias that were uncharacteristic of their current family and environment, but aligned with the past personality they claimed to have been. So, there were children who had weird personality. Their behavior was something very different. Both the parents were very normal, very nice, wonderful. Why should the children have this type of behavior? Was the question. According to the normal thing, they don't have this heredity thing. Why should they get? No? So then he went to the past life. Particularly those children who remember the past. He collected that people and the past life. In the past life, what has happened to their personality? Before death, how was their personality? Did they have similar things? Did they have some schizophrenic tendencies? Did they have some dementia things? So all that he studied, and correlated. That's another way by which he did wonderful research. And he said, those personality traits which were there were found here. Psychiatric cases there, psychiatric cases here. So there's a connection between here and in the past life. What we say in our Karma Siddhanta, whatever is your personality trait that is there, it will all get stored in the Manomaya Vijnana Anandamaya Kosha, will come back to the next life. So this shows that personality which were there has exhibited here, this dimension. Then the fourth way by which he did was reincarnation in different cultures. His research was not limited to one culture or religion. He studied cases from countries all over the world, including India, Sri Lanka, Lebanon, United States, Canada, and others, to explore the universality of this phenomenon. So this also is one of the great contributions. So how Stevenson was trying to prove the rebirth by various ways comes out this thing. So according to our thing, we have birth of a genius. We have musical prodigy, Balmurali Krishna, or we have others. Right at the age of 3 or 5, 6, they start singing so wonderfully well. With all the Shastras, the best. How does this happen? Parents hardly know anything. They were not singers. So the concept of heredity will not come into picture here. So this is the proof that in the previous life he was a great singer. Some of the cases which Stevenson and Patricia recognized was this also. Their personality trait, they were brilliant. They were born brilliant. And they had Shakuntala Devi in Karnataka, mathematical genii. How she was able to get all these things at such a young age? According to our Karma Siddhanta, it's all there in the previous thing. Because of that, it comes over here. Otherwise, the normal understanding of psychiatry, of the concept of heredity, will not explain this dimension. So it's only the Karma Siddhanta that can tell us. So therefore, the scientific exploration which have been done by Stevenson, by Srisha, and many others, all have come to support this concept of rebirth, which has been enshrined in our Bhagavad Gita, and based on our understanding of the Panchakoshas and dimensions. But however, in the modern scientific groups, reincarnation, rebirth is not accepted, you know, as a scientifically validated, concept. And therefore, we have to have more rigorous research to find out the concept of birth. It's here that any of you who are interested, to think of ways and means by which we can prove that with greater rigor, with greater scientific accuracy, with proper, probably different instrumentations. What we are doing in our research lab. First of all, if we can prove that we do not only this physical body, we have got the pranic body, Manomaya Kosha. We can take photograph with our camera of the physical body. But can you take the photograph of the Pranamaya Kosha? If you can do it, then it is one step toward the concept of rebirth. So the whole work started way back in late 50s and early 60s in Russia. There was an experimental technician called Kirlian. He developed a photography called Kirlian photography. How many of you have heard Kirlian photography? So what is this Kirlian photography? So he takes a leaf and puts it in his camera. You have to put it there. And then you take the photograph. And you will get a photo which is bigger than the leaf. Then what he did was, he cut that leaf top 1/8 and again took the photo. The photo did not change. He cut it 1/3, cut half. Still the same photos are coming. How does it happen? Why does it happen? And then if he cuts more than half, then the whole picture will vanish. This shows that there is something which is not physical. This we call as the Pranamaya Kosha. Then the second experiment, there is a professor in Russia who brought 2 leaves, exactly same 2 leaves. And he gave this, take photograph. So I took the photograph, the first one, it got nicely bigger than the leaf. Then the second leaf, he took and put it. No photo was coming. I said, what is happening? What is happening? Whether my instrument has become bad? Again, he took the other leaf, you are getting this. In this leaf, it's not getting. Tried several times. Then he came out and said to Professor, sir, I have failed. I don't understand at all. Professor said, you have not failed, you have won. Why? What he had done is, he had taken that leaf from a dying tree. All leaves had fallen. Only 1 or 2 leaves were remaining. But they look same. If you take a photograph, normal camera, both will be exactly same. No change. But the prana has gone in that tree. All leaves have fallen. Only some 5-10 leaves were there. He took out this thing. So what does that show? This picture? Pranamaya Kosha. It shows that it is a picture of the living entity, Pranamaya Kosha, what we talk about. This is called Kirlian photography. So therefore, the Russians started developing this thing. And we had this unit in Pondicherry, where Dr. Ramesh, he is a great pediatrician, he was pediatrician, pediatric oncologist. He got interested in this thing. He wanted to know what happens in the cancer patients. Normally, he will take his team for a survey in the surrounding areas of Pondicherry. Then he carried this thing also. And in the screening, we have the standard way to detect cancer. For all those people, he took this Kirlian photography also. And in one study, totally he has recognized about 80 cancer patients. And in all the 80 cancer patients, the Kirlian photography showed some dying aspect of that. But apart from this 80, another 10 persons also were showing the same type of thing in Kirlian photography. They did not have cancer. So he got surprised how this is happening. So he kept the records. Again, after 3 years, when he went back to that area for a resurvey, then he found all these 10 people had developed cancer. What does that show? According to our Shastra, Manomaya Kosha, it starts, comes to the Pranamaya Kosha, then comes to the Annamaya Kosha. So before it comes to Annamaya Kosha, it comes to the Pranamaya Kosha, the imbalances. So the karma starts from Vijnanamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, then Pranamaya Kosha, and finally comes into Annamaya Kosha. Adhi becoming the Vyadhi. That's the concept of our disease, root cause of the NCDs. Therefore, it is pre-diagnosis. 3 years before, he was able to diagnose cancer. He was very thrilled. He came and presented. We were also very interested. Then we started doing our research here in our lab, using the Kirlian photography unit that he has given us. But what we found was, if you take repeatedly the same picture, there was a lot of changes. The error was something like 100%. Then we said, no, this won't work. Then I told the Russian researchers that, you see, this instrument that they have developed is not good enough. Improve that. From late 70s, they went on doing research, improving. Then I met them in Bhopal. They had come. Then, how is this? Now we have got a nice instrument. Again, we tested. The error was brought down to 30%. I said, no, we can't accept. 30% error is not acceptable. Because if you give pranayama, if you give yoga and other things, if the changes are 10%, 20%, error itself is 30%. So instrument is not acceptable. Only when the instrument is less than 5%, then the instrument becomes acceptable. That is the accuracy that is needed. Then I told what to do, they had one. Then I introduced them to our German researchers. They both joined. They started improving. After 3 years, they brought out this instrument. The error was reduced from 30% to 15%. They said, good, you continue further and reduce it further. They were not able to do, they brought it up to about 12-13%. Then I introduced our American friends, one of the top research institutes. Then they joined together and they started working. And by late 80s, 88, 89, they brought an instrument which is about 6%, 5%. And from 90s, it became good. And the Russians and these people went on improvising. Now we have got a nice thing. It's called as the biowell, the Kirlian photography. So within few minutes, within 1 minute, you can get the photograph. Based on the principle of Kirlian photography. So we use that here. So we can take the photograph of your complete pranamaya kosha. And it will tell you how much is the pranic imbalance. In all the organs and systems in your body, it will show how much is the imbalance. Whether this imbalance is normal or whether imbalance is causing some of the ailments, everything can be done. We are now correlating with various ailments. So here we have set up that lab called Prananveshana. You can go there and then see that. And if anybody wants to do this thing, small cost is there because it costs something there. You can take the photograph. before taking breakfast, if anybody is interested, I can ask Dr. Ankita. You can come here and you can take the photo and you can get the complete photograph. So when you do yoga, how it is going to change? Which organ is in an imbalance? And whether that imbalance is getting reduced by your yoga practice. All these things can be monitored. Therefore, this is one step further to understand the subtle koshas that we have. In our Anveshana lab, we can track all the other dimensions. Manomaya kosha, Vijnanamaya kosha, Anandamaya kosha, everything we can measure. Therefore, our Anveshana lab is the most unique that we have. That is the one that we have done. Therefore, with that, we have today a dimension to show that yes, rebirth is a possibility, is a greater possibility. But to make the scientific community accept, we have to have more rigorous things that we should have. And that is what we are at in our research lab in this university. Anybody who is interested are most welcome to do this research. You can join hands and see how best we can take it further. And then we have another dimension that is emerging. Our ancient masters said, okay, now we have all these karmas embedded in that. That is called the Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma. So when you are born, all these personality traits are going to come up in your present life. How to track? How to measure that? For that, our great masters, they did what is called as medical astrology, Jyotisha, Vedanta Jyotish. And the greatest of the personalities is Varaha Mihira. Patanjali brought Yogena Chittasya Padena Vata Malam Sharirasya. 3 contributions Patanjali did. Yoga, Ayurveda, Vyakarana. 3. Similarly, Varaha Mihira made 3 great contributions. Mathematics, astrology, astronomy. Bruhad Jataka is written a big book. 15 books, mind-boggling. Ocean of knowledge is available. Therefore, we are going to explore those dimensions. What he has said, all those personality traits, Prarabdha karma, when it comes here, it shows up as your complete Kundalini, in your Kundalini. So, you can have this complete thing which shows which are the grahas which are there when you are born. So, what is needed today is your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth. If you know this thing, I can put the complete horoscope. We have got the software. And in this horoscope, it has been mentioned. If particularly the Shani Graha is here, then Surya Graha is here, and all these things, then you are likely to become diabetic. You are likely to get cancer. You are likely to get the hypertension. All these things can be predicted. So, the position of the grahas has an intimate connection to the manifestation of the Prarabdha karma in this life. And that shows up as the hereditary tendency. So, the root cause for the hereditary is in our Prarabdha karma. Sanchita karma is the whole storehouse of all the karmas. In that particularly, the Prarabdha karma is the one that manifests in this life. And that shows up as your horoscope. So therefore, we have started this center called Varaha Mihira, Advanced Center for Vedic Technology Research. So Vedic technology, the Puramimamsa, the Vasna Kanda, everything. And once you know that these are the things which are likely to happen, then is there a parihara? Is there a remedy for that? So our Puramimamsa gives that. One is the pujas. One is called the Upasana Kanda. Upasana Kanda is you go to the temple and you worship certain gods, goddesses by the puja, vratas, niyamas and other things. Therefore, the tendency of you becoming diabetes is going to reduce. The possibility of your cancer becoming manifest can be reduced. Therefore, this is called as the parihara, that's the remedy that we are going to explore. Then the second is the karma kanda. Just like we have got the pujas, vratas, niyamas, everything, we have built the temple here. We have got the Ganpati temple and we have got the Dakshinamurti temple. You go there and worship and be geared. So particular pujas have to be done for particular thing. All these things are being put forth. Similarly, in the second portion of the Puramimamsa, we have got the karma kanda, in which we have different homas, havans and other things. So we have set here a complete homakunda according to the shastras we have built here. So we can conduct the different homas for doing this thing. So we did some experiment on diabetic. So in diabetics, what are all the homas that have been prescribed? So we took a pilot study here. And we had about 9 people who had different levels of diabetes. Some people were very severe, they were taking insulin. Some people were not that thing, all these things. 9 people, we asked them to sit around and we performed the yajna. We took the biowell. We took all psychological parameters, all medical parameters. But the most important is we put the CGMS. That is continuous glucose monitoring system. Today, put it there, your glucose will be continuously monitored for 15 days. Whole 24 hours you can get this. That's the instrument we have. We put them. And we did different homas. They will come here and sit and we measure. What it shows, continuously there was a decrease in the sugar level. And different homas had different quantum of reduction. Whatever homa has been prescribed for the diabetes by our shastras, there we had the maximum thing, something like Chandi Homa or something. Now this is a pilot study we have done. Now we are going to do rigorous study and then we are going to publish. So far astrology has been put as a mumbo jumbo. No, people do not believe in that thing because nobody has done such rigorous research. So just like we do rigorous research to show that yoga is a scientific thing, we want to show that this Puramimamsa, this vrata, niyamas, pujas, havanas, yajnas, everything is also not a mumbo jumbo. It has scientific evidence. So further, this entire project has been built. This was the Shruti Mandir. When more people are there, then we are going to show here what is happening in the yajna, to show that and then we'll measure. So this 16th, we are going to have a very special homa for Swasthya Homa and Ayushya Homa. All of those people who want to participate, we can do that. Probably we are going to start around 9 o'clock or so, and it will go on up to 11:30, 16th of this month. Since you are all here, maybe I will ask Imla, if you are all interested, you can also participate in that. The idea is prevention of disease and to promote positive health. This we all want. Therefore, I am also sitting there and others are there. We are going to have this thing on a particular nakshatra, which is there. It's very auspicious. 16th, we are going to do that. And this is how we want to take up the research. We want to publish paper in the best, this thing. This is how we will be able to bring about the concept of rebirth more rigorously on various fronts. By this thing. So 2 things. Number 1, those who want to have the biowell, you can give, and Shimla, you give our names and we'll find out how much is the cost involved. If more number is there, probably it will come less based on this thing, number 1. Number 2, those people who want to participate in this thing, generally you can all observe, but if you want to actually participate in this thing, small dana we have to give for the priests who come there, that also we can tell. So these are the 2 things that are available and you can plan. With that, we close today's talk on the concept of rebirth, how the Bhagavad Gita has given all the science. It's called the Sanatana Dharma, ancient science, which is the most comprehensive thing. But we have to update it with the modern scientific knowledge equipment that we have. So all questions and others what you have, you can send. And next week, we are going to have any question and answers. It's a hybrid mode. So, as I said, you have this thing, and also a number of people all over are coming. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Nice.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji. धन्यवादः.
Thank you. Thank you.
And sir,
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you,
sir,
Guruji.
we have to
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, how can I join this research work for Rebirth?
Yes, sir. We want to join the Homa. Who
Yes.
takes
I want to
contact?
join this research work.
All those who want to also participate in this big research we are taking up in the Rebirth concept and others, you are welcome. You can write to me
Sir, how?
and you can send
Okay.
your this thing. We'll see how best you all can participate, from different things.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You can do it from there.
Actually, sir, I am very much interested. I am already working on Garb Sanskara also. So, I am working on Garb Sanskara for all the pregnant women because I feel that we can create a great society by teaching the pregnant women that how much needed Garb Sanskar for a pregnancy or a
Very
pregnant
good.
woman.
Very good. Good.
So, I
Write to
am
me,
doing
then I
that
will look
workshops.
into it.
Sir, I am doing workshops for that also.
And if you have more information about the research that has been done in this direction, you can write to me so
Yes,
that
sir.
newer things that may come up also.
Definitely, sir. Definitely. My name is Shikha Kotia, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I will definitely
Thank you, Guruji.
contact you.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
I will mail
Thank
you.
you. Jaideep, nice seeing you. Shreya, Kutia, Rani,
Guruji,
Hari Om, sir. Hari Om.
blessings for my daughter, Guruji.
Salam, Smitra, Murugesh, Mahadevi, Yogeshwar, Priyanka, Shashank is here only, Jubita, Vipra, Nutan, Sonia,
Thank you, Guruji.
Pavina, all these things, most welcome.
Thank you, sir.
sir.
Namaskara.
Namaste, Guruji.
Thank you, sir.
You can
Namaskar.
welcome. Thank you. So I'll meet next week. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.